it was kind of insane. Like all of those places in the space of just under 4 weeks. It was a little bit crazy, but it's okay. It was fun. I wished I'd stayed in Bali longer than 3 days, but other than that, I love Moscow so much, and my former publication venture, they are headquartered in San Francisco, so I was there to MC one of their events. LA, so many friends in LA, I just couldn't. When I'm in San Francisco, if I have the time, I cannot possibly not go to LA to see my friends. And then Nashville was another event, New York was another event, and then Lisbon was Web Summit, of course. Right. And after Lisbon, I went on to Riga for another event, and so on and so forth. I mean, it was just bouncing from stage to stage, after party to after party. It was great.
Nice. I'm a little bit jealous, a little bit at this point, especially after we cannot actually travel that much these days. I was like, damn it. But yeah.
I know, right? I mean, I've actually, for the first time, got a base in 5 years. So, I'm here and I'm actually paying rent in Berlin, which is an interesting experience. I feel like an adult. It's great.
So you're in Lisbon now?
No, in Berlin now.
Berlin. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm paying rent in Berlin. I've been here since August because, of course, can't travel at the moment. Before I was in Barcelona really at the very start of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then came to Berlin for one night just to go to Berghain with my friends, and then went to Austin. And then I nearly got stuck in Austin because that's when it really took hold. All the flights were getting cancelled, countries were shutting their borders. I needed to get back to the UK because I wanted free healthcare if I got ill. So it took me 27 hours and 3 flights to get back to the UK to get to my sister's house. My sister and my brother-in-law were very, very, very gracious to me and let me stay with them for weeks. Then I went and stayed with Victoria in Esposende. I went and did Greek islands for a few days. And then when I got to Berlin, I just knew, even though I was supposed to go to Vienna, I was supposed to go to Riga, supposed to go to Helsinki, I got to Berlin and I've been coming here for like 15 years on and off. And it's always been trying to capture me. It's always been trying to steal my heart. And I just knew this time that I had to stay. So I'm not saying my Nomad days are completely over, but what I am saying is that this is my base now, and if I travel around to see people, I'm going to still have a home to come back to.
Yes.
Still a minimalist, still a huge minimalist. I haven't bought that many extra clothes. My entire life can fit into 1.5 backpacks now instead of 1.
Yeah, I feel you. When I started traveling, when I had to move back from China, and I had carry on luggage with 30 something kilos, and I sent 30 kilos more. I was like, hell no, not anymore. So next time I packed my life really, really, into one suitcase, because I'm a girl, half of that was shampoo and everything and makeup, but it was okay, because now I'm so easy with stuff, I don't carry it around. I'm just donating, I'm giving it away, I'm throwing it away. So, there's no attachment to things rather than experiences, because I would, wear the same outfit. Okay, probably 3 in 2 days, then, just bring a suitcase. Though I know a very good friend of mine, Maggie, would take 2 suitcases just to go, but she's extra bitch. It's another story. My question is how do you actually start that? Nomad life, because I think a lot of people, even before the pandemic, were trying to travel and work, but it's not that easy all the time, because obviously sometimes it requires budget, sometimes it just requires a lot of connection. So how was that for you? How did you start it?
Yeah, I mean, I found it relatively easy, but I only found it relatively easy because I've been doing business travel since I was 24 years old. So, and I'm 151 years old now. I am actually a bona fide vampire. So for me, the travel part of it was very well practiced. And, I think it was Ashton Kutcher that once said, what people don't realize about an overnight success is the fact that there's been 10 years of hard work behind the scenes that nobody saw. And, you know, people burst on the scene and or they look like an expert. Or the reason they look like an expert is because they've been toiling at something for, you know, thousands of hours, and nobody has seen that. So, you know, it was very similar for me. I'd just been traveling so much since I was 24. I was doing 40,000 miles a year in a car, and I was doing like 60 to 70,000 miles a year on a plane.
That's a lot.
Then over the last 5 years as a digital nomad, I was doing more like 160 to 180,000 miles on plane every year.
So your airplane miles are like up. You could just get free flights when you want.
You would think that. You would think that, but it turns out it's not that easy because, there's some alliances, but actually your points are spread out across so many different alliances and airlines, and you can't confirm that actually you just end up with a mediocre amount of points on a whole number of different platforms. And if somebody could please, anyone that's like listening to this, if somebody could please come up with a way to make it attractive for the airlines and build a platform so you can swap points between programs, that would be really nice. Thank you.
Yeah, that's actually
sound like a business deal right there. Business.
Yeah, I'm not going to build that startup. Somebody out there, please.
Idea for an app. Definitely. Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you, Stuart.
Yeah.
So yeah, the travel part wasn't the problem. The minimalism side of things, that was new for me. I just read a lot. I watched a couple of documentaries. I also, at that point, I'd completely changed the way that my mind works. You know, through daily meditation, I was very much at a point where I was just thinking about the now, what's in front of me, not worried about like the past or the future. And you know, it's funny how that changes your brain chemistry and makes you think about life in a very different way. And you know, I realized that, you know, actually I could get down to as little as having 3 of everything, because you can wear one whilst one is washing and there's one ready for tomorrow, you know, and you can just cycle 3 things around. And if you combine these 3 things, you've still got a combination of hundreds of different outfits, right? So I didn't get down to 3 of everything. I have more t-shirts when I can possibly handle. I mean, there's still only a stack of t-shirts.
Still not much. Still less than my makeup, so that's the win.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and then little tricks and tips and things, just making sure I could get everything down to as small as possible, as light as possible.
Mm-hmm.
When people would give me gifts, like speaker gifts and just like friend gifts.
The Gossip Line Podcast.